Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this session. We have a great lineup of startups who are going to pitch their big idea to Mars for the chance to win a 20K paid pilot. But before we do that, let me tell you a little bit about what we do at CoCubed. In fact, more than that, let me show you a video that gives you a glimpse into what we do here. Oh, maybe. Boom. All right. Let's go. So what we do at CoCubed every day is we connect the world's biggest brands to the world's most innovative startups. Our big belief is that the future already exists. It just hasn't been scaled. Startups have invented that future, and there's a massive opportunity for brands to engage. And that's what we're doing here at MadFest. We've got just over 30 companies over in the House of Innovation that are sharing their big idea for the future of marketing. And then here on the brand innovation stage, we've got brands pitching their challenge and then startups presenting their solutions. And so if you're interested in this space, we actually track and monitor over 12 million companies as CoCubed. Just over 30 of them are here today. But if you're interested in looking at how can startups solve your challenge, then we'd love to talk to you. Also, if you've got a problem, you can meet the startups that could perhaps solve that challenge right here at MadFest. So we're running speed dating sessions where you share a challenge and then we curate 5 companies similar to what you're about to see here with Mars, just for you. So if you're interested in that, duck over to the House of Innovation. We'd love to see you there. So why don't we get this show on the road? Our brand challenge today comes from Mars. And the person behind that is Sorin. Can you give it up for Sorin? So Sorin, tell us a little bit more about what you do at Mars.
My name is Sorin Patilinet. I work for the Center of Expertise for Advertising Research at Mars globally. And I have a very good relationship with Jeremy. I mean,
that sounds weird, man.
It sounds weird, but I can tell you why. I mean, last year, and that's how you convinced me to be on this stage. Last year, we started a project, I don't know if you remember, on looking at new solutions to augment our ad testing tools. And I'm very proud to say that one of the startups that you've recommended is embedded into our ad testing solutions globally. And it's I don't know if I can say the name. It's
why not?
Dragonfly AI.
Fantastic.
So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to today. It's very much an open brief, and happy to be excited here.
I love that. I love that. I mean, these sessions are where connections are made and hopefully startups are scaled. But Sorin, give us a little bit more context around the challenge. So you mentioned it's open brief.
Certainly. So the brief was very open. We are bombarded with ideas, with solutions for problems we don't have. And we actually have a big problem to really, really understand consumers in this ultra-fragmented world. And I do believe that, yes, the answer could come from the big players, but also there's a lot of innovation that could come from the smaller players, the new ideas, and that's where I'm here to see.
Perfect. Perfect. All right, well, why don't you grab a seat and let's get this show on the road. So the way this works is we've got a handful of companies that are going to be pitching their solution. 3-minute pitch, so it's fast and furious, 2 minutes for a quick question. And then Sorin's going to be announcing the winner of the 20K paid pilot with Mars at the end of this. So our first company does something really interesting. They make digital content shoppable. Now, of course, that gives you a huge amount of insights. So to tell us more, please give it up for Naomi.
I'd normally talk about how Dotter streamlines path to purchase for consumers, about how our platform aggregates multiple pieces of purchase information, pricing, promotions, real-time delivery information, and seamlessly integrates that into all digital touchpoints, making every moment a shoppable one across all points of purchase. I might go on to differentiate a bit, it's a busy space, about how Dotter adds more purchase influencing content than anybody else. Things like subscribe and save, buy now, pay later, delivery options, even integrating third-party partners like ratings and reviews or coupon partners. I'd usually finish by talking about how, alongside our own highly configurable modular front-end templates, we're also a tech player. We provide API access to your chosen partners, whether that's dynamic video like an Innovid or a Teads, or an AR game producer, so that they can build Dotter shoppable functionality directly into each and every one of their executions. But let's talk about your specific brief. I'm going to say a little bit about how Dotter is using emerging technologies to bring benefits to client insights teams. I'll start with machine learning. It should be pretty obvious and make complete sense that as Dotter collects so much data on shopper interactions, that over time, machine learning can be used to leverage that data. If we think about the front-end experience, there are various things we know with any activation. So we might know for a particular campaign that Mars's priority is to choose one of 5 products within a subcategory of whiskers, in this example. We know in advance that each of those 5 products tick various boxes. One's a saver pack, one's a multi-pack, one's a bulk buy pack, one's a tin, one's a can, and so on and so forth. A whole bunch of tags, if you like. We also know, at the moment of consumer engagement, a whole bunch of things about the user. We know their device, their location, how and where they've initiated that engagement, time and date stamp, amongst a few other things. So at the moment of a consumer engagement, Dotter's machine learning toolkit will use all previous engagement data that best matches both those tags and the consumer use case. And we will dynamically populate with the combination of product and purchase option that is most likely to result in a purchase action, truly anticipating shoppers' needs using all available data. Now let's talk about the back end a bit. So as well as our own rich data, we're an ecosystem. We'll also plug in your data partners. That could be dunnhumby or IRI, Salesforce or Skimlinks. We want you to have a really clear picture of all high-value shopper actions linked to precise engagement. Then we'll feed that data and those insights into the places that it matters, via pixels and tags to the media platforms for on-the-fly campaign optimization, and into Mars's own analytics tech stack for really deep consumer insights around consumer engagement and purchase behaviors. Finally, we're going to overlay all engagement and shopper interaction data into Dotter's BrandWatch tool. Now, BrandWatch records SKU availability, price, promotional information of both you and your competitors' products. It's a very powerful insights tool just by itself. But when you combine that data and you overlay it with media and campaign purchase behaviors, you end up with an incredibly powerful, totally unique combination. An actionable, ROI-driven use of big data that's used not just to optimize your media spend, but to automate targeted CRM activations, to benefit your category management teams, to improve your e-commerce customer relationships, and with some clients even influence their product strategy. Thank you.
Well done, Naomi. Sharp first pitch. All right, Sorin, why don't you jump up? We've got time for 1, maybe 2 quick questions.
Thanks a lot, Naomi. I really like the idea that every connection is a shoppable moment. I mean, we really believe in that at Mars. And I also like the machine learning approach that you showed very, very briefly. I'd love to know how you think about using multiple data sources, and when do you think data is too creepy, for example? So the question was around the machine learning algorithm. When do you think using too much of that data becomes too creepy, and when would you say stop?
I think to some extent that's trial and error. It's a bit of a learning process. So we, again with the ecosystem, we have a whole bunch of data of our own, but we're not using cookies, for example. So we're not trying to get to the level that it's at an individual consumer. It's simply saying from all of the data sources that we have, from previous consumer interaction, and anything that we've plugged in, whether that's the weather, a dunnhumby database, or even Tesco Club Card maybe one day, that we can predict how a consumer wants to engage. So we're trying to streamline without crossing the barrier into creepy. And the feedback is instant. When a consumer engages, we can instantly see how people are reacting to what we're presenting. So you can be really quick and responsive when it comes to tweaking how you use that data. Because you're right, there's a risk, right?
Got it.
Perfect.
I don't know. I have more, but I'm
All right.
conscious
One
of
more
time.
quick one. Go, Sorin. One more quick
So
one.
I think that algorithm works very well on plant categories. How would you approach impulse-based categories like candy, for example?
I think with Impulse, there are still a whole bunch of brand priorities. So if you speak to a brand team when they're launching a campaign, whilst it's Impulse, they still have priorities around the products. They will still have shopper marketing teams that are working on activations with retailers. So you just think slightly differently about the execution. And actually, the shoppable media works very well for Impulse, but you might not show an e-commerce link. You might say, hey, here's the quick commerce providers that can deliver it to your door in 45 minutes, or here's a store that's 2 minutes walk down the road or whatever. So it's just reshaping how you use that data again. And the fact that it's an Impulse category might influence what we present as the purchase option.
But it works.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. We've seen, so 2 quick examples. We've seen a client reduce their cost per lead by 80% by using Dotter data and having an awareness-based campaign using that data to create performance or a conversion-based and reducing their cost per lead. We've seen a client use our data with their e-commerce customer relationship team so that they were measuring what impact does an online listing have for a new product launch. How important is it for an e-com retailer to be listed on day 1 of launch versus day 5 or 6? And they had a big campaign to launch, and they used Dotter data to be able to go to 2 or 3 of the grocers and say, you missed out on 70% of traffic because you didn't list online until day 6, for example. So yeah, all of this data, it's because it's using genuine consumer interaction. So if you use it right, then it works and it becomes a virtuous cycle.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
cool.
Thanks.
Thank you, Naomi. So our next company, for most brands, you got heaps of data, but how do you put that data to work? Well, our next company helps you turn CRM data and use it to drive explosive growth from IOTA, ridiculously dressed. Please give it up for Matthew and Alan.
The
superheroes of today.
Oh,
Absolutely.
hello, hello.
Thank you. Yes, please.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are IOTA Mal. So, what if one of your brands was able to drive, one of the competitive brands was able to drive engagement 3 times? You'd want to know how they did it, right? Well, we're here to tell you today how one brand did that through the power of IOTA Mal. We are your Cape Crusaders, Matthew Mahabadi, Alan Thorpe, and Sorin. We couldn't feel you leaving left out, so we wanted to make sure in the Mars Blue you had a cape as well. I'm going to hand over to my colleague Alan, who's going to take you through some of the numbers.
Lots of numbers. So, as marketeers, all we want to be is hyper-personalised, don't we? We want to put the right thing in front of the right person at the right time. That's always been a very difficult thing to do, because when you want to get data science insights, you have to go to the data science team, you're briefing them to do the A/B test analysis, predictive modelling, segmentation. It's tedious and it's slow, but with machine learning it no longer is. And that's exactly what we've done. We've given marketers the freedom to carry out their own machine learning data analysis in a completely no-code environment. It's incredibly fast. These stats for Volvo's global head of CRM is in the room here today if anybody wants to talk to him. Tony will probably wave his hand, he's very tall. He's anyway, look, the point is they can get a campaign doing the analysis and producing the content using Jasper as a content AI engine and out in space of 2 hours, all right? That's pretty amazing, isn't it? They were with a global leading agency for over 25 years, and yet, in 18 months, they've managed to produce these kind of figures at far, far lower cost by using machine learning and AI. That's pretty powerful. It's quite exciting. Lots of other brands are getting quite onto this, actually. I can't remember how many times I need to click this. Isn't that terrible? You see, I need machine learning.
Yeah, these are some of the outcomes that we're able to deliver. So clicks up, engagement up. If you click again, Alan. Is it going?
That's your lot, Matthew.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Well, there we are. And that's enough to know, right? You don't want clicks up, I think, on your output.
The bottom line is, in the space of 30 days, from start to fully implemented, you could be doing these things for your business. you can actually have the prompts that you need to make effective use of AI content engines. Because until you've got the information and the insights that you need in the volumes that you need, you can't be hyper-personalized. You cannot use AI content engines effectively. That's why this is the right thing. And that's why we're here, to turn you all into data superheroes. That's us. Right. Thank you.
Brilliant. All right, I love it. Thank you, our superheroes. We've got time for a quick question. Sorin, jump up.
I love the distinctiveness. Well done. I mean, you catch my sight even when I got into the festival, so thanks a lot. I'd love to know a little bit more what's behind those splashes. I mean,
About the what, sorry?
What's behind the splashes? The clicks up, opens up.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
is it all about engagement, or it's also about?
So we're fully integrated into the Volvo CRM team. So what that means is that we are able to properly measure the output of the results that we've been able to deliver. So we have worked very closely with Volvo. We've given them access to our tool. They push data through our tool. It's gone back into their CRM, delivering the results that then have come out through their system.
And have you ever worked with a consumer packaged goods impulse-driven category?
Well, you could be the first, but we are working with all sorts of different businesses in different categories. So in the States, we're working with a business which is preventing California from burning down by making sure people remove the tree stumps from their back gardens. We're in Ireland, we're working with a charity, which I can't tell you who it is. And we are also working with, I can't say the name of it. Can I? It's an
okay,
insurer. It's an insurer.
Yes,
so the bottom line is, though, this is fully integratable with whatever data platform that you've got, because it's a two-way relationship and it's completely no code. That's the key to it. And it genuinely does free marketers to use machine learning and AI in completely personalised ways.
Perfect.
There we are.
All right.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Sorin.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Alan. All right. For any brand, engaging the next generation of consumers is a key challenge. But how do you turn that from not just an opportunity to engage the next generation of consumers, but also understand greater insights that can help fuel your brand? Well, from our next company, we have Chris from Diggin. Maybe. Yes. We're good. We're trying to find your slide. There we go.
Do you know what? I'm pretty much off slide.
There we go. You're good to go.
Okay, thank you. So hey, my name's Christopher Platt. I'm the CEO and the founder of Diggin. And if you're under 25 years old, you may well know who we are already. That's because what we do is we provide welcome boxes. We provide a conduit between brands that want to reach students. And we have contracts with 150 universities, 5-year rolling contracts to provide marketing activity for those brands on their accommodation. So we're there right from the beginning, the most important day of their lives. At that point, their first day at university. When they arrive at university, 530,000 students. Let's bear in mind there's maybe only 690,000 people born in the UK every year. So 530,000 receive this box. It's absolutely jam-packed with samples and with offers from the kind of brands that want to reach those students. So this is the biggest mass migration event that happens in the UK every year by an absolute mile. And if we're talking about future-proofing your consumer insights, then I would say, why not make sure we've got a continual reach of the brains and thoughts and decisions that are being made by new entrants into the economy year after year after year. There is, they're not just students, are they? They're brand new entrants into the economy with low or no habitual brand preferences for us to overcome. And within every single box, there's an invitation to enter the UK Freshers Draw, which is run by Diggin. This is done through the Diggin app. The Diggin app is a gamified surveying tool, and it is endorsed by the universities with whom we work. Very first year we did this, we put out our first survey to check on the ROI of the sampling activity, and 104,000 students responded to a 25-question survey. And we want young people to recognise their voices and opinions are important, and we want brands to use our insights not to necessarily target because of psychological triggers, but to learn how to better earn their custom. The Diggin app, so it collates the unfiltered opinions on the brands we work with, but also their opinions on society, on culture, on health, This means that for any single question we ask for a brand such as Mars, we end up with an average of 110 different data points that we could compare it to. In fact, with Reese's a couple of years ago, fascinating, we were interested in showing there's a huge correlation between people that liked Hawaiian pizza and people who like Reese's Pieces. So that allows us to look for some deep analysis. We believe that the choices and the behaviors of young people are a strong indicator of how we're all going to work as a society in the future, and so therefore it's a great indication of where the future is going. To begin to predict market trends is essential to understand the new entrants coming into that economy. So we don't only provide the data solution, but through our sampling, through hall drops, through experiential activity on site at the universities, we actually provide an opportunity to change their perception towards your brand. So, in essence, how are we looking to future-proof your capability to understand your customers? By guaranteeing access to the unfiltered opinions of 530,000 brand new students coming into the economy year after year after year. Sorry, there we go. There's a few slides that I didn't manage to get through because, that's what happens when you ask somebody with ADHD to summarize in 3 minutes.
Love it. Thank you, Chris. Give it up for Chris. All right, stick around, Chris. We've got some questions coming your way.
Yeah.
I really think that product is the best form of advertising. So I think you're bringing advertising in the box.
Oh, yeah. Do this with me, I'm back.
DJ Chris.
So what I said is I truly believe that product is the best form of advertising. So I think you're bringing advertising in the box, which is great. I like the solution. And I think it's a potential start of a conversation with those audiences. Is there an online platform that then those students can then follow up to basically deep dive into that into research with them? Or
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're trying to do is build that model to give a return on for the user, for the app user, so that they can immediately see the responses of all the other students, understand where they fit into their peer group. So the data was initially conceived to prove the ROI of a good sampling activity. But I mean, that very first year, we've got over 100,000 students respond to it. We suddenly realized we were onto something a little bit huge here. But
probably sampling is secondary to data capture.
kind of now we've become a data company, yeah, absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Chris. Thanks, Sorin. So for any brand, getting access to consumer insights is key, but how do you get access to them fast in an efficient way and in a way that perhaps uses the latest technology? Well, from Instapanel, please give it up for David.
Is this working? Okay, there, great. I'm David, and we are Instapanel. So Instapanel is a market research platform where you can ask open-ended questions, and then we recruit highly targeted audiences to record video responses to those questions. So what can you do with an Instapanel? Well, you can ask people to record videos talking about their deepest, darkest, secret thoughts and feelings about candy. And then you can secure a public release from them so that you can actually use it at a conference and in a presentation like this. We can ask people to record videos in a store as they're actually going through the purchase decision in the moment, talking through what they're seeing in the aisle and their thoughts and feelings about that. And we can have them actually consume the product on camera and tell you about the experience in the moment. We can also have them meet your competitor. Although, to be fair, she only bought it because it was on sale. And also, it was broken in the package. So she was disappointed with that. Sorry, the video is not fully loading here. But so we can recruit in 28 different languages around the world. So here's somebody, well, it's supposed to be someone in Brazil eating a candy bar. Here's someone in India eating a candy bar. And here's someone in Australia eating a candy bar. But in seriousness, sorry, the Google slides aren't quite showing the video here. But she's eating it kind of like corn on the cob. And I think it merits some further study to see if this is a normal behavior. You know, maybe there's some product innovation there. If this is the typical way of eating candy in Australia. We can get highly specific in terms of the target audience that you're looking for, in terms of demographics, behavior, attitudinal targeting. So in this case, this guy, his candy experience, he talks a lot about kind of texture and mouthfeel. He really wants the candy to kind of be cold and kind of be really like that chewy experience. Versus this panelist talks about how it's more of an emotional experience. You know, she wants it to kind of, she uses the words kind of reassurance and comfort with candy. And this panelist doesn't have much to say. So this is from a different case study we ran with pets. And generally when we're recruiting pets, we recommend to recruit their humans first to get insights. So a typical InstaPanel is 10 to 20 panelists answering 6 multiple choice questions and 6 open-ended video response questions. And, but we can also scale that up to 100 or 200 responses. And at that point, the results start to become quantitative. And a lot of the work that we do goes into actually extracting insights from those videos. So each video, we transcribe it, translate it where necessary, and sociologically code it to capture the concepts that are being expressed by each panelist. And that's where, you know, it starts to actually get quantitative at the higher sample sizes. You can compare different groups and segments in how they're responding. So we package it all up into an interactive infographic. It's a link like this that's really easy to share amongst your team. And you can kind of go through the videos and kind of find those key insights, that spark of inspiration, and pull key quotes to help convince colleagues of your findings. So if you want to see the full results of this case study that we ran, so this is something we ran, I think we started on Thursday, and we're fully recruited on Saturday for this. It was, I believe, 5 or 6 different countries. You can go to instapanel.com/candy. And to see the answers to this InstaPanel. And of course, if you want answers to your questions, well, you should choose us for the brand challenge. Thank you.
Well done, David. Stick around. Let's jump in with some questions.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool idea to record the videos. I'm curious whether you do any kind of category meta-analysis based on like multiple advertisers that probably play in the same category.
Yes, so this is something we're looking to get into more. The sort of baseline kind of like having a inventory basically that we can run. It's not something we currently do, but what we do is that for individual clients, we'll kind of compare their data across different InstaPanels. So you know, to give you a sense, sort of like something like this is probably in the range of 2,500, 3,000 pounds. So even like 20,000 pound budget, you could run multiple iterations, and we can kind of benchmark and compare across between those. So it's kind of meant to be like a really quick, rapid way of gathering feedback, and we can kind of do a lot of them in succession to build that bigger picture.
Got it. And I have the last question is, who buys the candy? I mean, who pays for that?
Yes. Yeah. So we incentivize panelists. We give them, you know, 20 pounds, 20 euros, $20. Typically it's PayPal, but you know, we can do Amazon gift cards and things like that. So I believe for this one, we increased the incentive a bit because they had to kind of go into a store and buy a product. So I think for this one, it was, you know, maybe 30 or 40, yeah. So I'm looking at my colleague Kate, who actually ran the project. And yeah, but that's all inclusive in the pricing too. So you don't need to worry about the cost.
I'll go to check that link.
Cool. Thanks.
Certainly. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, David. That's 4 down. We have 2 to go. And our next company solves the challenge of which a lot of large companies like Mars face, where you've got loads of brands, loads of projects. How do you pull it all together? Well, from Basecamp, please give it up for Natalie and Eduardo.
Hi everyone. Can you hear me? Nice. So we're Base Case. I'm Natalia. This is Eduardo. We're based actually in Berlin, in Germany, and this is our first time at MedFest, so we're very excited to be here. So essentially, BaseCase works mostly in the life science industry with pharma and medtech companies, but we are looking to expand into marketing and advertising, so that's why we are here. So essentially, BaseCase is a value communication platform which allows to create data-driven interactive tools to help you have meaningful conversations with your stakeholders. So the main idea of BaseCase is to simplify data to insights processes and help you to have interactive discussions across the board. There is no coding skills required to build tools on BaseCase platform, so it's simply drag and drop functionality, which is very intuitive and user-friendly. So Eduardo will run you through a bit more how this is done.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just walk you through a bit of how we create an app. So, sorry. So there are 3 steps to create an app, and the first step is to build a layer, the first backbone, which is basically oh, it's not loading properly, but can you go back? Okay, it's not loading properly, but here basically we have a white canvas where you bring controls that will be inputs and outputs. So inputs are basically everything that will communicate to a backend, and the outputs will be charts, will be pie charts, will be Sankey diagrams, will be waterfall charts, anything that you need that might help you to communicate your, basically what you want to show to your customer or to your teams. Once you've built the backbone, once you build the first layer, then you focus on the second layer, which is bring the data sets, bring all the Excel sheets that will be communicating to that front end. And that could be done even by APIs, so you can communicate to your internal data sets. Or you can even like leverage SQL queries, you can leverage your own Excel models that will be uploaded and will be communicating to that first layer that you built already. And once that's ready, you publish and you can distribute across devices. It can be an iPad, it can be a laptop, it can be even a mobile device, so that you always have access to the same app in different devices, and also you can control also the versions of that you have published, so you don't have a bunch of versions laying around in your inbox, right? So you have control of the final thing that you want to show, and also you can gather information, have analytics of what are the pages that are used the most, have some sort of heat map, and yeah. So once and you can iteratively improve the versions based on feedback. So it is very easy to do. Our life sciences clients do it by themselves. So we think that if it's a heavily regulated industry, there is opportunity in this space. And if you want to know more, we have in our booth, we can show you how it works. But yeah.
All right. Well done, guys. Thank you. Any questions from Sorin?
Thank you very much. I think we all have challenges with integrating internal data sets, so I think this would be a potential solutions for some of those challenges. I would have loved if you would have gone a little bit more into depth into an example of how this works. I think I get the idea, but I would love if you can, I don't know, if you can say in a real example, even from bioscience or life sciences.
Yes, so from bioscience, something that some of the ones that are more popular to us is called budget impact models, which is like a face-to-face comparison, like treatment A versus treatment B. And then you, let's say that you bring that app into a hospital, and they want to change their own, the inputs to their own, to how it works in the hospital. So they want to make sense, they want to see if it makes sense to adopt the new treatment based on real data. So you will hear an analysis of, okay, it makes sense because it saves cost, or it has, makes people more healthy. But then every year there is new data, so you upload your Excel file, and all of the app populates, and you don't have to do any other update because the data is carrying,
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Thank
but
you.
we have examples for the marketing agencies. If you are
Sure.
interested, we can talk to us.
Thank you
Alright.
very much.
Perfect.
You're
Thank you. All right. That is 5 down. We have one more, and our next company helps teams within corporates to find and collaborate around insights. From Media Lake, please give it up for our last 2 presenters.
Test. I'll use it.
Cool. Can everybody hear us? Yes? Brilliant. Nice to meet you. Cool. Okay, so here we go. Right, so introducing Media Lake AI. A little button. Okay, so we've taken your problem and we've taken a little bit of a tangent on it. So we said, how can a centuries-old brand get access to better insights, but also revolutionize the way it handles and manages assets at scale across all of its channels? So what does that mean? Mars creates millions of digital marketing assets every single year, huge volumes of content. But the problem is, nobody knows where everything is. Everybody gets lost in a whole range of different tools, and I'm sure many people here experience a similar problem in their day-to-day jobs. Interesting stat, most consumers wouldn't even care if 77% of brands disappear overnight. So, Mars needs no introduction, incredible company, huge number of brands that fall under its portfolio. A few things that Mars might not know. So we've got some really interesting stats here. Brands with higher diversity scores in their content generally see an 83% consumer preference over competitors. Interesting thing around content production, 70% generally ends up unused. And 50 gigabytes of data online equates to over a ton of carbon emissions. So there are really interesting sustainability implications here as well. So few interesting stats. Media Lake aggregates all of the content you have across all of your channels and automatically indexes it into one single place, whether it's your end channels, social channels, the workflow platforms that you use. And what that means is that we're using incredibly powerful AI to do loads of really cool stuff. So we can uncover deep level data and give you insights, for example, on D&I and sustainability. Out of all the content you make as a brand, what is the gender balance, what is the diversity balance? And we can also look at content lifecycle analysis as well. Of all the content you're making, how much is actually making its way through to your end customer channels. In addition, we can help you find any asset in your entire ecosystem in seconds. We can look at duplicates, helping with sustainability. And in addition, we can help with copyright issues. I think one of the biggest tech brands has called copyright issues the potential Napster moment of our time. So, 2 ways we can help Mars. We can help them meet their D&I goals even faster. Interesting quote here from, I think, the president of Mars, Wrigley. Brands with higher diversity scores in their content see 83% higher consumer preference, so we can give you insight on all of the D&I data and all of your content, number 1. And number 2, we can help Mars reduce its carbon footprint. Most brands are sitting on the equivalent of a digital landfill site. We can actually help significantly reduce that and meet sustainability goals. Last slide, a few examples that we can actually move the needle. We reduced the average cost per asset for TikTok by 36%, helped ANA Airlines deliver an 88.5% carbon reduction, and helped liberate budgets by 30% for Expedia. So lots of really cool angles where we can help out Mars here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Adrian. You had me at Marketunist when you showed that, and then when you started talking about Andrew Clark, I was like, okay.
We knew you were.
They did their homework very well. So I get it. I get what you're doing. You're also not unique in the landscape, but what makes you unique?
I'm going to hand you over to Adrian.
Why should I choose you and not the other dozens lining up?
Yeah, so I think our uniqueness is that we connect to all the other platforms. So you can use those dozen, and you can also use us.
I only have budget for one, so
well, there you go. So the way we look at it is we want to connect to all your places you have your assets, because we found that what really happens is that someone buys a dam, they expect everything to get in there, but people just end up using Google Drive, they end up using Frame, they end up using all these other tools. So we connect to all those tools, pull all the assets, and then we run models, AI models. So one model may be for find me every Snickers in all my content. And so we can run that model and we can find and discover that instantly. And so we have open source models, we have models that are paid. We create our own models as well that are proprietary to you. So you can imagine you're just taking all your assets and with one click finding whatever you want.
Okay, and how complicated is the onboarding process for, I don't know, a company that advertises 38 brands in 20 plus markets?
Exactly. So we actually built this for you. So it's 2 clicks to connect any data source essentially. And then as the data source is connected, we run a model on it as the assets are coming in. So imagine you connect your Google Drive and you say, hey, I have 1,000 assets on there. We pull those in. We're starting to analyze it, whatever models you want. You can have some clients we have 15 models that are running on an asset. Every asset gets analyzed by each one of those models. And then we have other clients that are running 100 or whatever amount of models you want to run on there is up to you. But it's 2 clicks to add any source, and that's all you do. Just add whatever Frame, Google Drive, Dropbox, whatever you're using, or some of the proprietary DAMs. We connect, we pull it in, and we're real-time monitoring for new assets that are coming in.
Okay, thank you. That's good.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Randy. All right, so that concludes our 6 pitches. We'll give Sorin a minute just to collect his thoughts, and then I'll invite him up to announce the winner of the 20K paid pilot with Mars. But before we do that, let me give you a little bit of an overview of what's happening here at the House of Innovation. So like I said before, right sort of if you could go that way, we've got the House of Innovation where we've got over 30 startups who are pioneering the future of marketing. There's an amazing opportunity for you to engage with them. If you want to share with the team in the lab coats your challenge, they'll curate 5 companies for you to meet in half an hour. So a nice, fun way for you to engage, or you can register using the QR code. Second thing to say is, if you enjoyed this session, this is what we do day in, day out at CoCubed. We do it for brands, but we also do it on podcasts. So if you're interested in hearing more about how other brands are solving their challenges powered by startups, then check out the There's a Startup for That podcast. And then last thing to mention is that this is the second of 6 brand innovation challenges that we're running over the course of MadFest. In just about 20 minutes, we're going to be looking at the challenge from Eon, looking at how they can use startup technology to drive consumers towards more sustainable usage of energy. So do stick around for that as well. But Sorin, I think that's about as much as I can pad it out. Are we ready to come and share your thoughts? And then what we'll do is we'll talk through each one of the companies, and then I'll get you to announce
For half an hour each.
So we started off the brand challenge with looking at Dotter, and they've got a system that allows content to be shoppable, but there's a huge amount of insights from that. What were your thoughts on Dotter?
So Naomi did a very good job. I don't know where she is, but hi. So yeah, I think, the fact that every connection is a shoppable moment is an insight that we like to keep out close to our hearts. So we're looking at any kind of solution that could help us transform any reach point into a shoppable connection.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then we looked at IOTA and how they can connect CRMs to drive explosive growth from our superheroes.
So I think they win the prize for the best distinctiveness. Clearly, well done. It's an emerging space, this generative AI content integration into our existing tools. So maybe that could be the selling point for you guys.
And then we looked at Dig-In and their big idea for turning student sampling into insights.
Yeah, where's Chris? Hi.
DJ Chris.
Yeah, it's funny to see someone thinking about his idea turning into another business idea in the middle of the pitch. I think it's more of a data than a product opportunity there.
And then we had a look at Instapanel and how they can curate a panel for you within very short notice and pull out some insights from that.
David, well done. I like the fact that you really answered the brief in putting the consumers in front of us, marketeers. It's very difficult to not listen to them when you have them in a video in front of you every day. So yeah, it's a Great opportunity there.
And then the penultimate startup was Basecamp and their solution for their SaaS product that they've built for project management and gathering insights from across companies.
Yeah, I think, I mean, we have huge challenges with connecting data sets and running experiments and optimizing experiments as we go. I think we can learn a lot from life sciences or biosciences. So yeah, well done. I don't know where Natalie and Eduardo. Hi.
It is. And then last up, we had Media Lake and Richard and Adrian sharing their big idea that we just saw. Thoughts on Media Lake?
I think they need to go to our corporate affairs department first to get the okay on some of those quotes. I hope they won't quote me for that, but I got it. I think, I mean, it would be fantastic to have a solution like that across all markets and for Mars. I think it's a long journey ahead, but could be.
Okay, cool. So of course, there's no reason why Mars or any of the brands here could not work with all 6 of the companies that have presented or explored those options further, but there can only be one. Oh, we need the trophy actually. Oh, there we go. We've got the trophy. I'm like, what the heck did I do with the trophy? We have a trophy, people. This is like a big moment. There's a trophy, but there's a 20K paid pilot on the line here. So why don't we do a little drum roll? And the winner is...
Shall I go with 6th place or?
No.
Okay, so let's dig in.
Dig in. Wow.
What do I owe you?
Come and get a photo.
Okay. I know.
Perfect. All right, give it up for Dig In. Thank you so much, Sorin. Thanks to each of our 6 startups for presenting. We'll be back here in about 15, 20 minutes with Ian. But right now, it's time to hand back to Mark.